Hello, everyone. Welcome. Oh my God, I'm dragging Mason all over the place. We're off to a great start. Welcome to Book of Dawn, IOTH Academy. I am Tormented by Gnomes. I'm your host and game master, and it is my great delight to have all of you here with us. Joining me, as usual, we've got our class of students consisting of Crowan, Leg Day, Lemon Kiwi, and Anacra. Crowan, how are you doing today?
Hanging in there, and we'll see how long Mason survives today. It'll be great.
It has been 0 days since Garnet fragged one of Crowan's characters. The previous record was 0 days. Oh, Leg Day, what's going on in your life, my guy?
Oh, not too much. I'm finally starting to recover from existing on minus 11 hours, which was me to Hawaii for an entire week. That was rough, but we're getting back towards vaguely human time.
It's all we ask. Chat has already given you a scroll of Featherfall, so please add that to your character sheet.
Thank you. Getting that one back, baby.
Yep. Let's see, where's this light? Lemon Kiwi, how are things in your world? What's new?
Good. It rained today.
Yay!
Which is abnormal desert behavior. So yeah,
we take those. No, that's big news in out in the desert. Here in the desert of Southern California, I can relate. More rain, please. Necro, what's going on with you?
Not much. Just kind of vibing. Also recovering from a long week. And just trying to get my act together.
Aren't we all?
Also, again, highly relatable content. How's Oreo doing?
He's doing great. He just ate. He's the hungriest cat I have ever met in my life.
He's been on the streets for a while, and now he's like, I have unlimited food. I am going to ride this gravy train as far as possible.
It's true, though. He does like his gravy.
Oh, God.
It's good stuff. You got to get him some of that poutine. So, probably not. No human food for cats. When last we left our heroes, the sun rose gold and red in the east over IOTH Academy. Once again, smoldering smoke rises from the workshops and the arenas, all the places where the DM failed his save against the sleep spell. All the places where the constructs and mechanical contraptions of the Academy were possessed by the power of Anacronus, who attempted one last-ditch effort to open Tarsalmore's vault by force when Anacronus believed that Garnet had betrayed him, or at least snitched on him. In the wake of that battle, our three remaining heroes have a lot to take in. Athalor sits in his now solo double room with the second of two roommates having turned against him. Alex and Renan's belongings are strewn across the chamber as you focus on the golden floating quill of IOTH, which even now inscribes his runes, the Archmage's runes, over your heart into your skin with glowing liquid dawn magic, inscribing it upon yourself. Is there anything else we need to know about what Athalor is up to, or anything else that he's doing or experiencing before we move on?
Nothing else beyond that, to be honest. He's trying his best to not make any sound of the pain, being aware that Arianna and Garnet are next door. I don't know if that's a con saving throw or if it's just a gritting the teeth.
If you want to do a con saving throw, it's a con saving throw. Otherwise, it's gritting the teeth.
Let's grit the teeth.
All right.
They've had enough woe for tonight.
Good enough. Garnet, the sun rises on Zeilar's holy day, your 15th or 16th birthday. Actually, in your fifth year, you'd be, I think you're 14 or 15, because in your first year, you're 10 or 11. So you're turning 15, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll trust you on that.
Yeah, happy birthday. But yeah, what's going on for you? Where are you as the sun rises? How do we find Garnet after this yet another traumatic night?
Well, I think last we left off, her and Arianna were like connecting hands, and we just kind of realized that Alex was in the underworld, and kind of realizing that moment and just maybe the fact that they were safe for now, was there still battles? Because the school was still being attacked and stuff, right?
The wardens were all imbued with the fire of Zeilar. It surrounded their weapons and empowered their magic. And using that burst, they were able to overcome the machines across the entire campus. There's still little pockets of violence, but all the student dormitoriums have been secured. They're just investigating little bits and pieces of leftovers. But overall, you're in the cleanup stage, and for the most part, the battle is over.
Okay. So probably if Ariana is down to go back to the room, and if all is peaceful and we are not needed, try and get some sleep, but just crawls into Ariana's bed just almost automatically because that's where she was always comforted on the bad days. And she kind of like tucks herself in and waits for Ariana, and yeah,
Okay.
Honey, come to bed.
honey.
Ariana joins her. Don't worry. No words necessary.
Okay, so the two of you are going to catch some sleep after a long, difficult night.
Yeah.
Okay. As the sun rises, where do we find young Mason on this day? The night after all this mechanical violence. What happened to him that night? Is he okay? What did he get up to?
Mason very much would have been trying to help as many people, students as possible throughout all the attacks, and make sure first and foremost that they are okay, and if they're not, try his best to help them. And then after things have kind of settled down, would, especially with the people he's met so far that are into like, you know, meditation, would facilitate, you know, that as to help everybody keep kind of, you know, cool, collected, balance everything out after a crazy hectic night.
Okay, make an insight and or persuasion check for me, please.
Okay. Insight. 20.
Okay. You are, in fact, a balancing presence amongst the other students. It's been a sleepless night, but you yourself haven't turned in yet as the sun is rising. And yeah, you're out there amongst everybody taking care of things. So
Yeah.
good on you.
I guess
Athalor-
priority. Oh, sorry. I was gonna say priority would be with you know, members of the Kiz John, but you know, would extend, of course, the same courtesies to everybody in need.
Okay. Athalor, when you're done inscribing the runes upon yourself, are you going to trance? Are you going to try to take a long rest? What's the plan?
Yeah, Athalor's going to try and trance and take a long rest. Like, it's just been a hell of a day, and he is beat to fuck.
Okay. All right. And Garnet and Arianna, are you both trying to take a long rest right now? Get your full 8 hours of sleep?
Try. Yes.
Are either of you struggling with this?
We'll probably go for the 4 hours because that's, I guess, a full rest for my class, and we'll have issues sleeping, and we'll just say the 4 hours, and then we'll be woketh thinking about the Alex situation.
One thing I will say, Garnet, is that every single time you've slept for the past few years since meeting Mirik, your sleep has been racked by nightmares, but not tonight. Your waking mind troubles you, but in sleep, the nightmares are gone. It's peacefully quiet for the first time in years.
That's strange. Probably we'll chalk it up to like, oh, maybe you didn't even get to the REM cycle part of sleep. You know, just when you nap and you don't dream. So because it
And
wasn't,
get to the Infernal Zone.
or you just
Yep.
like wake up and you automatically forget the dream, because I'm sure that is still a normal thing. So
Yeah,
it
it's
doesn't think
still a
much
normal
of it.
thing.
But might just like get up and try not to wake Ariana, and I could do a funny like stealth check just to try and crawl out of bed and not wake Ariana.
All right,
That's
give me that stealth check.
okay, cool. A little
Yeah.
stealthy.
Not difficult. I mean, that DC wasn't even high in the first place. So
Cool.
Nope.
She sleeps like a rat. We'll just be up journaling and reading until Arianna wakes up.
Okay. So if you slept for 4 hours, that means that you'd sleep till from about like 5 a.m. to around 9 a.m. And if you went to sleep around 5 at dawn, Arianna, you'd be looking at a 1 p.m. wake up time.
Yeah, that's normal.
We don't have class, I imagine, or anything, right?
No, it's the school got attacked again.
2,
True.
it's a 3-day weekend. The nice thing about the Anacran calendar is that you get a lot of 3-day weekends.
Oh, was there any like plans? Because wasn't it today the Zeilar celebration? So if I'm needed at a certain time, then I would leave before the 1 p.m.
Have you
for that.
ever participated in these your entire time at the school?
Have they done this at the school?
It's been not like a big formal thing, but a couple of Bronthan students get together and they just,
Well, since I haven't heard about it till now, then no.
I imagine you've been trying to lay low, and if you were too
Yeah.
involved in those ceremonies, it would have been easy for you to get detected at that point, right?
Yeah,
But-
so this will be the first time.
Actually, you do kind of get a knock on your door. And Ruby, who's ass you trounced in the duel, Cyrus, the other Bronthan who saw you at the feast, they're both actually asking if you'd like to celebrate the Feast of Glass with them.
Okay, this is an important question,
Mhm.
Gnomes. What are
Yes.
the cuteness levels of Ruby and Cyrus?
Okay, I need a moment to look them up. Give me a sec.
Okay.
I'll track the cuteness levels. Let us check in with Athalor while I go over this. What does he do after he trances and wakes up?
I was wondering if you'd like to dictate any memories of the past day that might have been particularly potent in the trance. Whether it was Quan falling, seeing the way that El now looked at that, if it was learning about Alex. Are we still in the day where we went into Tarselmore's office as well?
I think so.
It's been a long ass day.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. It's felt like weeks.
But I figure if there's nothing overly pressing in the trances, Athalor would try and create a telepathic link with the quill, just to see if there was like any echoes there.
It doesn't have any immediate it doesn't seem to have its own sentience. It has distant echoes, but not a full mind in and of itself. Cuteness levels for both Cyrus and Ruby are high, by the way.
Oh. Necra's old.
Ooh, Necra comes over to like, who are you talking to?
What's up?
Hey,
have a
you got
friend?
friends? Meet my homie, my very cute homie. We'll try to like whisper to them because Arianna's still sleeping, not being annoying, and if they need me, then I shall depart.
Oh, they don't need you, but they want you to be there. They would be honored if you would be there with them.
Then I shall go.
Roll an insight check, please. A 5.
I am just freshly woke.
Yeah, you just woke up. You slept deeper than you have in a while. So, yeah, that's fine. Cool. They want you to go with. All right. So they're both wearing ceremonial robes, not like full priestly robes, but sort of the holiday best robes and tunics in reds, whites, and violets. Brilliant, fiery colors with the fringe on the edges. And normally, this feast is celebrated either in the temple or in the home of a prominent community member, but they're probably just going to take over like an open courtyard in Tarselmore, the landing platform of Tarselmore Hall, where people come and go, because they want to host this under the sun, obviously.
Have my wings like kind of chilled out a bit?
Yes, all that mega Zeilar energy you were channeling has in fact chilled out. Your wings have gone back to not being there like they normally are.
Okay.
When you rested, everything faded back down to normal.
Cool. Looking normal, I see. Cool. And would spend the time to get ready as well. Like
Okay.
10 minutes to freshen up since, battle and blood and,
Mm-hmm.
clothes. Cool. What are we doing?
All right. So they have all prepared food. The Feast of Glass is a potluck, but it's an anonymous potluck. Nobody tells anybody what they brought so that nobody feels any sort of shame and everyone can participate in the community feast as needed. So there's some delicious spiced food. There's like a spicy stew that smells like a curry. There are some pastries with cinnamon and nutmeg in the middle, still moist in the center. Some fresh plates of fruit. And they've set out a table that has a white cloth over it, and it's decorated with clay pots filled with sand and pieces of colored glass shaped to look like flames. This is a remembrance of when Zeilar saved the city from the Raveners in the first miracle, long before you were born, when Bronthan was founded. And so they're sitting there, and there's a couple of other Bronthan students gathered from, actually a lot of Bronthan students, far more than would normally celebrate this. There's like 20, maybe 30 people here. They've come from other chapter houses, not just Tarselmore. They've all sort of gathered here. So there's a ton of food and fruit juices and teas and really nice home cooking all set out here. And this long table with these pots filled with glass shards and sand. It's a big old feast.
Is there like non-Bronthans here, or is it only Bronthans?
There's a couple of non-Bronthans here, but even the non-Bronthans who are present are wearing the garb of Zeilar's faithful.
So this isn't like a place you can bring a +1 or +2.
You would know that. Roll a religion check with advantage. You would know this.
I hope I do. Religion.
You'll know something, I promise you. Unless you roll a 1, in which case that's just because you're groggy-headed. A 24. Yeah, so here's the thing. This was only ever celebrated in Bronthan, which is, everyone is under the Zeilarian faith. Like, every single citizen of Bronthan celebrates the Zeilarian faith, and the only people who wouldn't be there might be visiting dignitaries. So in this environment, you never really got specific rules, but this isn't a secret ritual no one else is allowed to attend. So you think people would be able to bring +1s. That would make sense.
So probably just like whistles to Una, who's invisible and knows that maybe like Arianna would love this, but she's asleep, and ruining her sleep makes, I think Arianna probably likes sleep more than food, or at least wouldn't want to be woke after such a long night. So we'll maybe send a Raven or Una to go and get Athalor, because Athalor might be awake, to see if he might want some lunch.
Okay.
And also she doesn't want to be alone, which is a bunch of Bronthans. Or she's just like slightly feels out of place. Like she's a very social person, but is just feeling very awkward right now.
Okay,
so.
Roll a perception check for me, please, as you dispatch Una. 10. A lot of people do seem to be like looking at you and then looking away.
Is just grabbing a plate and is making eye contact with decor and food and not with people and smiles, as people passes by, but tries to just be wallflower mode.
Everyone is being very welcoming and polite and generous to you, but not like trying to engage you in hardcore conversation. But they definitely seem to be not hostile. I don't know. It's a weird vibe. You haven't felt like this in a long, long time. All right. Una flits away to find Athalor. Meanwhile, you slept till 9. It's like 10 a.m. Mason, have you had a chance to get any sleep yet?
Probably a little bit, but not as much as they would need to be like a, fully functioning human, because most of their priorities were on other people and making sure they were okay. Because Mason's selfless to a fault, probably.
Okay. Balvi, your roommate, is out and about today, taking care of the rest of the kids, John, meeting with people, making sure, helping with recovery efforts, doing charitable outreach like the kids John normally tries to do in disasters like this. And Sventisco is sitting at your desk right next to you, quietly reading while you sleep, not waking you up.
Okay. Would eventually like Mason wake up and she's just sitting there?
Mm-hmm.
I guess Mason would get up and be like, okay, register that Belvy wasn't there. Just sit up and look over. Oh, Sventisco's there. It's like, wait, Sven. Hi, are you okay? Are you all right?
She puts down her book and turns to you, and you can tell that she is nervous and worried. That was a terrible choice of adjectives.
Mason would get up and go over and probably like sit on the desk and take her hand and kind of just like hold it in between both of his and would say, "You can talk to me."
What if I can't?
Why can't you?
She grimaces, thinking hard, clearly uncomfortable. Roll an insight check.
Okay. Natural 20 for 25.
Oh, let's go.
See into a mind, man.
Okay, you have known Sventisco long enough. For a moment, if you were more in your own head, you'd be worried that she did feel uncomfortable with you. She doesn't. She is frustrated and uncomfortable because she can't tell you. There's something she wants to tell you, and she can't. And I don't mean she doesn't have the courage to tell you. I mean, she cannot tell you. She is somehow incapable of telling you, whether she wanted to or not.
Yeah, I think Mason would. Well, I guess to Sven it'd be mantra. I might switch those up at certain points, but say mantra would study her, be very gentle, not make any sudden movements, just kind of sit there and as he's kind of getting the feel for how she's feeling, will slowly shake his head and say, it's okay. I understand.
She relaxes and gives you a soft look. Go ahead.
Just glad to see you.
She nods and squeezes your hand back and says, the next few weeks are going to be really important for us.
Yes.
I have to go. Again, I'm going to go meet with Kepesk because there's a little excitement, a little fire in her eyes. And she says, I think it's time that we started making some bigger moves. I think that we can make a bigger difference right now. I think anything that we try, I am very confident in our success. Whatever she's saying is loaded. She clearly means for you to pick up something else behind it, something that she can't tell you.
I think Mantra's firmest reaction is just like as soon as Sven says, "Oh, we need to do this big stuff," it just kind of just smiles and just big grin that even if he wanted to, couldn't get it off of his face, and just slowly nod to himself more than anybody, and just kind of intentionally, but also half absent-mindedly say I love that about you. Big things. Yes. I believe in you. Do you need help?
While I'm gone. Yeah, there's two things. If I can ask two things of you.
Please.
One, keep an eye out for unseelie fae. And if you can help the Kizjan protect the students from them, if at all possible, it would mean a lot to me. And two, I think it's time that you shared what you found down in the camp with the Codex.
You mean... And then would kind of get off the desk and pull open a drawer, and there would be a part of the mirror in there. And okay, I can do that.
All right. She wants to know if you need to go anywhere else or if you can just spend some time with her here before she leaves. Because she's excited but a little scared.
Even if Antra had any prior obligations, would make time for Santisco right now.
And so we further delay your addition to the story. My apologies.
It's just, Mantra's a huge spend simp, so it happens.
All right. Next up, Una flits along through the shadows, darting under doors, slipping past wardens and guards to make Una's way to Athalor's chamber. But real quick before we do that.
Behold, an act of God.
Well. It's full of fucking pixies.
So many bees. No, actually, I think you get some treasure. Right now from.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah, from Auric, the golden god. Let's see. Trove. Yup. You find a small cache of treasure. So I'm going to go ahead and start rolling for that while Una wakes up Athalor. The feast! The feast!
Athalor only needed 4 hours because of a trance.
Yeah, you've had your 4 hours. Garnet got 4 hours. It's about 9 a.m. It's like 10 a.m. or so. You're summoned!
Summoned?
To the feast.
I am not a butler.
Beneath the dreaded day star, she calls to you.
But I will save her. Are they all wearing Zeilar things?
Yes.
Okay. Athalor kind of pulls together an outfit, trying to incorporate a couple of reds just as a baseline. But as he leaves his room, on the way over, he kind of because he knows his way to the hall, he closes his eyes and tries to do a bit of a micro trance and remember back to when he'd eaten the Aracuran blood and saw the betrothed of Garnet.
Oh, okay.
And he's going to cast a minor illusion to try and mirror the outfit of what I assume was like a Bronthan war squire.
Yeah.
So you're changing in front of Una?
Yeah, but it's only the outfit.
So does Una see a
tattoo?
or?
Una apparently has woken up Athalor, so he was topless in bed. Una's just fucking, wake up, you little elfin shit.
I don't know if Una would think the tattoo is weird, or if it even has the intelligence to know.
Well, pull up Una's stats and roll an intelligence check, and we'll find out.
Okay. Well, I fed that one to you. I should have just shut up.
Teacher, don't we have homework?
Oh.
Una can read out.
That's a natural 20. Okay, yeah. Una absolutely notes this, recognizes the similarity between these runes and the runes that bound to Dubasif, and the fact that it's in this golden dawn magic, and completely deduces that Athalor has a new dawn magic tattoo with IOTH's symbols on it, and keeps that information to Una's self.
Well,
all right.
Escort you over, I guess.
All right.
Changing midway with minor illusion.
Una the Shadow Imp lurks in your shadow as you emerge out into the sunlight, which is very bright today, Athalor. Una's like creeping in your shadow to stay hidden and to avoid the sunlight.
Probably go invisible mode so the whole shadow bird thing doesn't alarm the sun guests.
All right, so Athalor emerges, and those who remember the green gala, some whispers go throughout the...
An act of God.
What? What?
I don't even know what that does.
I do.
Athalor is, Oh my. What was that? I don't think I saw that one.
I'll take care of it. Don't worry about it.
Oh,
Don't worry
good.
about it.
Oh.
Okay. Back to our scene. Carry on.
So the second Athalor arrives, he's like instantly on the scan for Garnet, as he doesn't particularly fancy indulging some religious fundamentalists.
As soon as she sees Athalor, will like just run over and hug him, just very happy to see him. And finally someone she knows at the party type of thing, when everyone's been kind of not like, again, not hostile, but it's awkward, and she's trying to be happy and stuff, but it's been a weird day, so happy to see Athalor.
Hey, you feeling any better?
Had a great sleep actually. Do you want some food? There's everything and anything here. Ariana's still sleeping, but she doesn't wake up by the time this goes cold. We'll bring her a plate.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind that. It feels like it's been forever since I've been able to just sit down and eat.
Just like walks him over to the table and waits for him to pick out some food. And
Athal's going for curry.
Nice. It's good stuff too. Roll a insight check, please, Athalor.
Curry, are you lying to me?
The curry is sus. When the curry is sus.
This curry's incredibly sus.
All right, you both have rolled 5s on your insight checks. I don't know what's going on with this. But everybody's very, very friendly, very respectful. It's a very large crowd. There's lots and lots of food. And the feast is just going to carry on, and Ruby is going to sort of... Ruby and Cyrus are the ones who are sitting closest to you. Cyrus remembers, like, praised you after your Green Gala performance, right? And Ruby fought you and kind of had a freak out, a religious crisis at the moment. But they're being incredibly warm at the moment and respectful and maybe a touch deferential.
Kind of just like whispers into Athalor's shoulder to just maybe help her warm up to the Bronthans, because she wants to make friends and just feels like they haven't had a chance to have normal relationships with other students in a while with all the attacks, and doesn't really know how to approach the Bronthans. So she probably either wants to approach Ruby or Cyrus, and also hints that if Athalor can wingman so that she can get someone else at the gala this year, so it doesn't have to be him.
Do we even have a gala this year?
There's a 6th year dance, but there's no 5th year dance.
So it's not for another year. Okay, never mind then. I thought it was
But
this year.
you can plant those seeds now. Arianna, would you like to wake up?
Yeah.
All right. Somehow the smell of food drifts all the way down into the dorm, and it's like 11:30, 11:40. A couple of people, they know that like you hang out with Garnet, and so a couple of people have come by to knock on your door to just like see if you're awake. And the first few that came down here when the feast was starting were completely just knock, 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 nothing, slept right through it. But eventually they make their way through to you, and you are invited to the Feast of Glass, which is being held up on the balcony.
Okay. Well, Ariana would definitely be very eager because she heard food and she smells food, and so she wants to go. But I think, like deeper down, I think Ariana is more concerned that she doesn't see Garnet around and like wants to check in with her. So she's like, "Food, Garnet, Garnet, food." I
Maybe
gotta
got
get
it with
both.
food.
So yeah, she'll get ready and she'll go up to the balcony.
All right. When you get up there, it's a huge table. They've got several tables stacked with white tablecloths over them, clay pots with multicolored, jagged, wavy, melted glass, and just tons of Bronthans and Zeilar's faithful, all wearing these beautiful flame-colored robes and tunics and sashes. And the hubbub, like the focus of it, seems to be around Garnet and Athalor. So you spot them very quickly. And you're able to join them as, again, there's a ton of food. All the students brought home cooking. Like, they all cooked all night to make this. That's what's customary.
Arianna, you're going to.
While the school is getting
love
attacked, they
this.
were cooking.
Yeah, they were probably attacked while they were cooking. And so they had to, like, pull all-nighters. That's a good point.
Yeah.
So things are a little more sloppy than usual.
It's okay. It doesn't matter. I think Ariana would come over and she would just like run up to Garnet and Athalor like, "Oh, you guys are okay. I didn't know you would be here. Actually, no, I think I did know that. Anyway, like it goes and gives both of them a hug.
Just drops like whatever conversations they were in, and just as soon as she sees Ariana even walk into the room, she's already like, sorry, one sec, and then just starts heading over to immediately turn and have a conversation with Ariana and just say hi and hug her, check in.
Did you sleep okay?
Yeah, I thought you wanted all of your sleep. But I was gonna get you a plate. The food's really good.
Oh yeah, I'll be over there in a second. I just wanted to make sure you guys were okay. I kind of feels like a bad dream. What happened last night?
We can check in on the reality after this. Maybe we can go see if Sig's okay after last night.
Yeah, I should definitely do that too. I probably won't stay too long.
Okay, cool. In the meantime, Athalor kind of like half angles his body towards Garnet and then over to the table. Like, Ruby, what elective were you taking again?
That's a great question.
We finished the history of battle and tactics midterm a couple of weeks ago, and
Overworld studies, studying the Sky Kingdom, particularly relevant. They've had an up close and personal education she's gotten this year.
Oh well, that's cool, don't you think, Garnet?
Yeah, I took Underworld. So yeah, cool. Just doesn't know how to interact.
So you're learning about the wellspring and the cycle of life. That's, of course, that makes sense, yes.
Just as soon as she says Underworld, though, she's like, thinks back at how Alex is in the Underworld, and now she's just like in a distracted, kind of looking away or looking at her food, and let's kind of Athalor do the talking for a few minutes while she thinks about it.
Yeah, Athalor kind of commandeers the conversation as she looks a little bit more distracted. And he kind of just like meanders over. It's like, I know it's not customary to ask which one of these you bought, but do you know about the spices that are in this curry? It's fantastic. I'd love to like see if there's any more to be made.
Absolutely. And Cyrus will eagerly go into detail on the various peppers and roots that are ground up, and the special spicy flower leaves or fire flame leaves that are grown along the banks of the river that runs through Bronthan or at the highest mountain peaks, and which ones are the most expensive and most difficult to harvest, and which ones don't grow within the city limits, so you have to go out to harvest them under danger of the demonic Imperium. And those ones are normally saved for like a very special occasion, but he thinks today counts, and he glances over at Garnet and looks back at you.
Just her ears are perking up when he probably brings up like some of the expensive spices that maybe she remembers from back home and is
eating
now
just normally on the daily.
Yeah, it's just like maybe talking about the spices. Oh, like that one? Like, is it the river? Oh, did you have to use like this? Like, you know, is interacting with
Yes,
that
until
part.
the oven exploded.
What?
To do with Basil?
Just the one leaf. No, I was using an artificed oven. So right, I had the curry on the stove and I had the pastries in the oven, and then it attacked me.
Oh,
Are you okay?
Yes, yes. By the Sunrider's grace, yes. We're all okay.
well, I can take a look at the oven for you and sends a message to Athalor, like, and kind of elbows him a little bit, like, to basically, like, vouch. Just right, Athalor. I'm really,
Yeah,
good
she's
with ovens.
fantastic with ovens. Like I've seen so many ovens fixed by Garnet. Honestly, like I didn't
Yeah.
even know there were that many ovens in her school, but she just materializes them, fixes them, and sends them away. It's like she has a remote oven repair shop.
You didn't have to do that much detail.
Wow.
Athalor.
Really? That's so interesting. Tell me more about ovens.
Just
What is this, a dialogue tree?
Tell me more about ovens. Tell me more about oven repair. I don't want to talk about ovens anymore.
Tell me about curries.
All right. So, Mason, after you and Sventisco part ways, and she gives you a kiss, and she's heading back down into the Undercroft, hopefully undetected. The wardens are on high alert, and she's still never gone back to classes, but she's pretty confident in her way to make her way back and forth. She's going to go meet with Kepesk again because, again, right now, in the wake of all these attacks and with the change of leadership, she thinks it's time for the Kizjan to really make a difference. And yes, she's going to talk with everybody this time. She promises. All right.
Yeah. I think Mantra, is sad to see her go, but understands and has full faith in her to, do what she's gonna do. So reminds her of that right before she leaves, and yeah.
All right. The shard of broken glass gleams in the morning light as noon approaches and the sun goes overhead. What will you do?
Oh, I think first of all, would try to, first heed Sventisco's request and firstly find a piece of cloth or something, make some kind of like to wrap up the mirror in, and intend to go seek out some of the members of the Codex, but also, and Mantra might already have more insight to this, but in terms of Sventisco's other request of like protecting Kizjan and students from the unseelie Fae, would try to think of the best ways that he would know to do that. If there's like anything special they could do, or get the help of the other Kizjan and make sure we're all like, looking out for each other, just that kind of stuff.
Okay. Are you in Otherworld Studies?
Let me double check. No. History and Tactics of Battle and Warfare.
Okay, roll a nature check to see what you know about the Unseelie Fae.
Nature. A 16.
Okay. The Unseelie Fae. So the Fae are divided into mostly into two courts, plus you've got the wild courts. The Seelie Fae delight in beauty and joy and the vivacity of life, but they are not necessarily good. The Unseelie delight in the brutality of nature, the dark, twisted reflections of things, and they're not strictly evil. Both of them can absolutely mess you up. So you know that the Unseelie Fae tend to be like, Seelie Fae include pixies, Unseelie Fae include redcaps. You remember the time that Sventisco fought alongside Cryas. So obviously you could look for Cryas, but you happen to bump into Renobi out in the hall.
Oh, okay. And I know Renobi because she saved me before. Yes, okay. Got you. Kind of probably glass in his bag or something, wrapped in cloth, I would say. Renobi, how are you faring after last night? I hope you're doing well, as one can be.
She shrugs. She's got a pile of books in her hand. She says, after the third or fourth supernatural attack on the Academy, I think I'm getting a lot of practice.
Yeah.
It's easier every time.
It is, unfortunately, but, well, partly fortunately. Gets easier. Your a part of the Codex, correct?
Yeah. Yeah, the Codex. Yes.
I have a... Well, I have something for the Codex, if you wouldn't mind delivering it.
She raises an eyebrow at you.
Or direct me to someone who would be best to receive, if you wouldn't mind.
Well, I haven't seen Cryas all day, and I know Henna owes you a favor for his slippers.
That is true.
Again. But if
They
you
are
want
nice slippers.
if you want to find the de facto scholar, she's currently having some sort of a huge party up on the platform.
Oh, that is... There was a feast today, right?
Yeah.
The same?
Holy day thing. I guess maybe we should be grateful. But,
Well, I suppose it seemed as though those energies assisted last night in the defense, so...
Did you see the giant glowing fiery bird?
I caught a glimpse. I was rather preoccupied, but I did. Yes.
Yeah, everyone keeps telling me about it. I didn't get it. I didn't even see it. Didn't get a single glance.
It was, well, I guess as magnificent as you could imagine. Very, like, almost an explosion, and then brightness, light, fire, but in so many different kind of... I don't know. I haven't seen anything quite like it before.
No one's ever cast a fireball at you?
Well, no.
Keep it that way. I'm gonna go ahead and go, but here, she reaches over, runs off to her room real quick, and then comes back with a tray full of roasted pineapple. I don't know who left this. I think one of them, they were cooking all night when all this started. Somebody left this behind. I came across it. I don't eat this stuff. Why don't you take it?
Thank you. I will bring it to the feast then.
Great. Peace offering. I gotta go. I have a thing.
Of course. Best of luck. I wish you well.
And she walks down the hallway with her pile of books, and then Darina, the Huldra, walks out of the other hallway and links up with her, and the two of them take off.
All right. Then Mason will make his way to try to find the feast.
All right. It's not too difficult for you to find that. And I want to change the camera back over to the feast before I unleash the terrible power of all these acts of God and such. Just like, all right, how long can I make actual progress before the school explodes again? So back at the feast, Arianna, Cyrus is in, and Ruby are in the middle of the conversation. But while this is going on, Ruby sort of leaves Cyrus to talk with Athalor and Garnet, and sidles up to you and says, Arianna, how are you? It's great to see you. Is everything okay? Are you doing well? Did you go through everything last night? All safe?
Yeah, I think so. I think everybody's still recovering, but I'm good. How are you? Are you good?
Yes, of course, absolutely. I think everyone's really doing well. Okay, everything was so chaotic last night. What did you see? What happened to you? Do you have any stories to share?
Oh, I think so. There was a lot. I feel like the biggest thing that happened was that Sig almost died. Yeah, did you hear about Sig?
No.
Athalor and Garnet just like...
Dinner combo.
Inside voice.
No, what happened?
Well, he got taken over by the same thing that caused all of the machinery and stuff to go haywire last night.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see all that? All the machines walking around? Like that was kind of crazy.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the same thing happened to Sig.
That's
But
terrible.
we
Is
but we
Sig
fixed it.
okay? Were you with your friends? She looks over at Garnet.
Who's now petrified that Arianna brought up the machines and has gone into gloom mode, just looking at food.
Oh, we were all busy doing a lot of our own stuff last night, so I kind of lost track of what was going on, not near me.
Things
Insight,
got
please.
hectic.
From who?
Yeah.
From Arianna.
Insight check.
Mm-hmm. Because we're all so
Oh,
good at
no.
those.
Oh, no. That's not that bad.
An 18. Okay.
Behold, an act of God.
Perception is reality. You are as powerful or weak as the world thinks you are. Mason, buddy.
That's me.
Oh.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
What?
Oh, man.
Okay, Mason, anytime that there's an interaction that ends or somebody thinks highly of you at that moment, you have inspiration. But anytime somebody thinks poorly of you, you have disadvantage. Yeah.
Okay.
Interesting.
Yeah. So that's how that one works. And
Flex
that's going to be
mode.
effective at least for the rest of the session. Anyways,
Cool.
Arianna, when you made that insight check, the moment that you said you weren't with Garnet, Ruby is disappointed, but she's trying not to let that pass through because she doesn't want to hurt your feelings, and she's not like, oh, well, you weren't with Garnet, well then, off, you're useless. Like she is glad to hear that you're okay and all those things, but she was also kind of hoping that you were with Garnet and could maybe share some insight into what happened. But given that you aren't, she pivots away more into just like making sure, hearing more about that and sympathizing with you and not immediately jumping away to just, ignore you.
I think after having that conversation, Ariana would go back to Garnet and be like, I think she wants to ask you some questions.
Huh?
I don't know. Kind of seemed like she wanted to know if I was with you last night. I guess and Athalor too, but I feel like mostly you.
Well, we were together last night. Like,
Well, yeah. I just wasn't sure if you wanted everyone else to know what happened last night.
I just don't want to, and just tries to change the conversation by like grabbing Ariana's hands and like putting them together and makes like her two index fingers stick up. And can you do the fire thing?
Oh, yeah. Ariana will try if it's still available.
Which fire thing are you trying?
Just like a little produce flame, like
Like
not a
just-
scorching ray, just a little.
Just
like-
middle. Yeah, sure. Yeah, you
like
can
a
conjure
lighter.
a little bit of fire. That
Oh
shouldn't
yeah, I
be a
can
problem.
do. Yes, I can produce flame. Yes, I can.
Awesome.
Ta-da.
Yeah, not a problem. Not a problem at all. Petty magic. Cool. So you
Just-
conjure a sphere of flame and you're just holding it in your hand.
A sphere,
Yeah.
and just kind of
Yeah.
like tries to less
Oh, okay.
small.
It's not
lighter.
much. It fits in the palm of her hand.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's not like a huge orb that must be
I'm
pondered.
gonna burn the building down, Garnet.
Behold,
And
an act
just,
of God.
Kind of smiles. If it's like something small enough, she smiles, looks at the flame, looks up at Ariana, blows out the flame, and says, "Thanks.
Yeah. Anytime.
Happy
Happy
birthday.
birthday, Garnet.
Thanks." And then just like
Happy
hugs them both. And just tries to change the subject.
So at that moment, Mason walks out onto the platform. And there's so much coming and going, and like there's actually some traffic nearby because this is where people land their flying carpets and such. So occasionally people will just land, look over at the feast. Some of them are like, yeah, I know this is a normal thing. Or yeah, after last night, absolutely Feast of Zeilar. Let's go. But there's some back and forth. And Mason, when you emerge, in addition to these pots of glass and the white tablecloths, there are 4-pointed candelabras and censers with incense and incense goblets for individuals, kind of rising, these fragrant smells rising from different corners of the table. And roughly at that moment, everybody starts standing up from their seats. Garnet, you nailed your check on this, on your religion check for this festival. The Feast of Glass is almost entirely just a feast, just a community celebration. But at noon, when the sun is at its highest, the highest ranking member of the clergy recites Calor's blessing and asks Zeilar's grace for all of those gathered and all of those scattered. Now, in the past years, Cyrus has led this performance. He has a clerical background, or Ruby's led this blessing, this prayer. But as everybody is standing up, you can see people kind of glancing over between you and those two.
And
What's happening?
just kind of looks to see if Cyrus is like in the middle of getting up, or is he looking at me?
He's standing up and he's looking at you questioningly, almost excitedly, hopefully. Not like urging you, but more like seeing what is going to happen here, seeing if you're taking it. Everyone seems to be nobody consulted with you or with each other, but they're all kind of like waiting to see if you're going to take this one.
Would I like have this memorized?
Yeah, almost certainly. You were an excellent student of religious studies back in the day.
Well, maybe send a subtle message to Cyrus and ask if he would like me to do it or if he would like to do the honors since he's done it.
Mm-hmm. He'll say it would be a blessing for you to lead us in prayer.
Just looking at Athalor and Arianna, kind of like super nervous and walks.
Athalor kind of runs his thumb and forefinger across the quill as an arcane focus and casts a minor illusion on her birthmark to make it glow a little bit, and then just nods to her.
Whispers flutter through the whole area. Mason, as you approach, everyone's standing up. Some of these people, I imagine, Garnet's pretty tall, right? How tall is she?
Like above average height, but not like NBA worthy,
Okay.
You know?
All right. So like Cyrus is pretty tall. He's going through his growth spurt. So Garnet stands out, but depending on what way you approach from here could be obscured by the crowd. But there's this sense of anticipation, this hush falling over the crowd, and everyone's standing up. And you've got religious proficiency, right?
Mason?
Yeah.
Yes.
Cool. Give me a religion check here.
12.
Zeilar stuff.
Yeah, I think Mason, obviously the vibe has kind of shifted and here something's happening. Mm-hmm. So Mason was trying to be as respectful as possible and just like observe everybody else, see what's happening, doesn't want to, overstep, encourage or anything. So just kind of sitting, or not sitting, but like standing along with everybody, kind of just waiting to see what will happen.
Okay.
Just Garnet will do one big sigh and then tries to walk up as confidently as she can, normally as she can, to wherever they want me to stand.
Just at your
Oh, okay.
At your seat is fine. At your part of the table is fine.
We'll stand up and say thank you, everyone who came today and who prepared the amazing meals that we have. I hope everyone is doing okay after the difficult times we've experienced recently, but now we can pray and eat and love each other, and let us pray. And then kind of gestures to get everyone in a prayer, and then we'll say thy prayer. All
right. Everybody opens their palms so that the light of the sun shines on their faces and on their hands as you go through the entire Calor's blessing, the founder of Bronthan. This is the prayer of the first miracle. And everybody, your voice carries out over everyone else's. So Mason, as you're approaching the table, you hear Garnet calling out this prayer. And Garnet, this awakens all of us who were grew up religious. This is going right back to that part where you went through this ceremony over and over and over, and you were often the one who would be called up to recite or read from the book and stuff. You had this on lock back when you were in Bronthan. And so this is like stepping back into that familiar place, back into being Garnet, the blessed child, the child of prophecy, who was raised to be a religious leader from the beginning. This is old hat. This is natural to you. And as the prayer is finished, everybody bows their heads and they all sit down, and just the feast resumes from there. And everyone's very excited. They all took your word, like they were hanging on your every word. And there's a couple of mumblings going out throughout the entire crowd. I would like perception checks from everybody, please.
I think right as Garnet is finishing, would walk to stand when she's coming off of stage or whatever that she was on, but
she was just standing at her chair, which was conveniently one of the end chairs or one of the center chairs. They're just like, oh yeah, totally, we saved a spot for you. It just happens to be in the middle of everything.
Yeah, Mason's distracted by trying to navigate and walk over to Garnet as
Athalor doesn't know the go-to, so he's just still standing up when
Garnet sits down. Oh, when you bring your friend to mass and they don't know how to do the Catholic calisthenics, yeah, relatable.
Oh, it's great. Ariana's sitting there cheering and clapping after Garnet's done until she's like, oh wait, not.
Light comes up.
Bug in here somewhere.
All right.
Cool.
Athalor and Garnet hear a couple of students whispering about the third miracle.
What's that?
Garnet, being heavily raised in the Zeilarian faith, the first miracle was when Calor the prophet saved the people from the Raveners by calling down the Phoenix, and they founded the city of Bronthan. The second miracle was the day you were born, when the Phoenix was summoned down and scourged the Iron Legions. And there is no canonical third miracle, but people are talking. They're using that phrase. They're not looking directly at you when they say it, but you're hearing it going around the table.
If she hears Cyrus talk about it or interact with the conversation, she might just kind of whisper over to Cyrus, what are they talking about? Because she kind of trusts Cyrus or is warmer to him than others.
Mm-hmm. Last night, the Sunrider delivered us from the eschaton clock. He stretched forth his power and turned the night into day and delivered us from our enemies. This hasn't happened in 15 years.
Oh. Yeah. That's crazy.
If this is a miracle, like you say, would this be the first one that happened outside of the Bronthan heartland as well?
Yes.
Is Mason approaching, or is he
Enter Mason.
Doesn't know how to interact with that conversation, so is very open to distractions right now.
Looking to Arianna and to Mason, somebody pass me a line, please.
Mason walking over
and just sitting there stuffing her face I don't know how to help you. You're on your own.
If this was a conversation the Garnet was very into, Mason would be respectful and wait, but seeing that it's not, would just interject and say, a wonderful service, Garnet. It's clear your word is very practiced and respected here.
Why don't you describe Mason for us, by the way, since this is the first time that we've met your character in this guise, even though he's totally been here the whole time.
Yeah, I've been there, probably seen him around, lived in Tarsalmore. for yeah, I guess since everybody moved here, but mantra or mason is, let me get a picture up so okay.
Which one do people call him by?
Mason.
Okay.
Yeah, you probably only would have ever referred to him as, heard him referred to as Mason, but is a tanned-skinned tiefling, has golden eyes, golden hair that goes down probably like middle neck, maybe a little bit lower. Has some gold jewelry, some piercings, like a nose ring, a couple of earrings as well. Has kind of like ram style horns as well that do like a big loop and go back out in front. Is also wearing one of the Kizjon like blue bracelets as well. Has on some gray robes with like gold I guess like shoulder pads, kind of like not really like big shoulder pads, but just like where the shoulders are. And has gold painted nails as well.
Ooh, fancy.
Yeah. And yeah, walking over, has the tray of grilled pineapple in hand as well. And after just saying, oh yeah, it's clear your word is very practiced and respected here. And here, I've brought this to the feast. Should I set this down somewhere?
Oh my god. Ariana will just like grab it from Mason.
Oh, thank
Athalor
you
tries
very
to more
much.
elegantly like sneak one off as Ariana takes the tray.
Does Ariana set the tray down or just take the tray?
He's just
I think she just actually takes the tray.
Yeah, Mason's like dressed ready to like set it down somewhere. That Ariana takes it, is like, oh, that works. Thank you very much.
Oh, thank
But
you.
that is one of two gifts, actually. You all, yes, you're Codex members. I was directed
Allegedly.
to. Indeed, I was directed to give you something. In fact, here, and Mason looks through a little like satchel on his side and pulls out something kind of small, thin, wrapped in cloth, and hands it towards Garnet.
It's just like on edge mode from yesterday. It is just and just hesitantly is taking this and opens it.
Mason kind of waits, as, looks as Garnet unwraps it. And I guess question for gnomes, would Mason know the significance of this? I don't know if he would.
No, I don't believe that he would, but Sventisco tries not to hide too much from him.
Mm-hmm.
So she knows Cryus has been looking for this, has been asking in dark corners and sliding people coin and going to some shady characters for help with this.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah. Would wait for Garnet to unwrap it and see if there's any immediate reaction.
Garnet, there's a very large fragment of a familiar looking mirror.
Is that the Naomi mirror?
Mm-hmm.
Would Ariana recognize this also right away if like she
I think the whole party would recognize it, yes.
Shows the party and tries to like message them to not have a reaction to it.
I don't think Ariana got that message. She's like, oh my god!
It's so shiny. Interrupts Ariana. It's so shiny. Where's the rest of it?
Cyrus and Ruby are immediately like paying attention. What's going on over here?
That is a fantastically thoughtful birthday gift.
I hope this isn't sharp because someone might injure themselves. And starts handing it back to Mason. What do you want me to do with this?
Well, I have heard Cryus has been looking for this.
Oh, well, starts scooting herself out of the chair. Just let's show Mason around the dinner, the party, and just kind of starts asking, like, kind of like giving the eyes to the party, like, let's go, party, let's go show Mason around, new friend. And tries to excuse away.
Catch up with Sig as well to make sure they're all right after yesterday.
Oh, yes. Good idea.
Thank you again for the curry and the food. It was fantastic. I will catch up with you later about the spices, and I'll tell you about what the sage showed us of Dokar cuisine. It's very different, much more bitter.
All right. They wish Arianna farewell. They wish Athalor farewell. Are you leaving too, Garnet?
We'll want to hang around the party until it's done, but
It ends at dusk.
Oh, well,
In 5-6 hours.
Well, we'll walk Mason around to get what the fuck this is, because she wasn't really planning on leaving the party, because this feels like an important duty right now. Something to not fuck up for once. So just is kind of escorting Mason around, and once they're out of earshot, we'll just now ask about the Cryas thing.
Also, pardon me, I should have led with this, but happy birthday. Heard it is your birthday today, right? Did I get that wrong?
Yeah.
Oh, it is. Okay.
Thank you. The pineapple's really sweet. Arianna loved it, right? I didn't have a chance to get any until she ate most of it, but it must have been really good.
From what I've heard, that I'm glad you enjoyed it, Arianna. I'm glad you enjoyed it. But yes, I don't want to overshare anyone else's business, but I figured since you're codex together, you might know the importance of this. Admittedly, I am rather ignorant when it comes to the bigger significance of it, but it's important to Cryas, and well, I figured by proxy, you all.
Yeah. Whatever Cryas is up to, I can give this to him. Were you not able to find him?
Well, I was directed here. I ran into Renobi and said you are sort of a de facto one of the leaders. So I figured it would be, safe in your hands.
Where did the Kizjan find this one?
Well, stumbled across it during the relief efforts of one of the nights when there was the attacks in the refugee camps. We tried to do our best to help, and upon returning, found this. Something fell down from the sky, crashed, shattered, kind of caught my eye. I took a piece that I found. It was scattered all around the area.
And just immediately looks at Arianna and immediately hugs her face, like, close to her chest. Like, will you stop eating those pineapples? Because just imagining that the whole mirror falling had a reaction that probably is.
Yeah, she's stopped, like, mid, like, fork, like, in mouth, like,
will you stop eating all of those? And gives her, like, a noogie and just...
Try to, like, give Garnet, like, a little bit of a look, like,
is now feeding her pineapples. Because this is really has a lot of vitamin C. After yesterday, there was vitamins in there, and just feeding her pineapples.
Confused but happy.
Pineapple.
Athalor, you were leaving, right? And Arianna was trying to leave before she got pineapple glomped.
Athalor is leaving, yes. He's heading to the equivalent of the quartermaster's office.
Okay. To pick up some supplies, some goods of some sort? What are you looking for?
He wants a thin slab of marble.
Okay, yeah, that's easily commissioned. While you're there, getting that doled out, and they check your records, yeah, You haven't ordered, you have an allowance of supplies all the time. There's a certain allowance of supplies you can order without any justification, and then you can get more if it's for like a specific project. But a slab of marble, yeah, easy. They'll go ahead and give you that.
This would probably come under his remit of being a sculptor.
Absolutely. Cryas is also down there at the exact same moment. Athalor? He glances over at you conspiratorially.
Athalor kind of looks him up and down for a second. I hope you weren't injured last night.
He shakes his head. You?
A little bit of mental scarring, but what is it on top of the rest, right?
Yes. We have to be made of sterner stuff. Listen, I heard that Garnet's busy. I need to talk with you immediately. It's Codex business.
I take it here won't do, or?
No, somewhere secure.
Lead on.
Right. He will take you down to the maze of illusions in which your boggles are concealed. Do you have the,
Of course, as usual.
Okay, lead the way. He glances back and forth behind him.
He kind of takes the knife out from like the inside of the armor plate that he usually stores it in, and then just sort of like cuts through the maze quite easily.
All right. Slip and Slide are not here at the moment. They're out wreaking havoc during this most holy of days. And once he's all the way in and secure, Caius folds his hands together. Athalor, I can trust you, right?
Yeah, we're running low on people we can trust, and I'd like to think that despite our differences, we have a mutual respect.
Yes, you've done some growing up, I think. He turns his head back slightly imperiously at you. But if anybody understands the actual importance of the Codex, I think you do. More so than just grades and appearances. With everything that's happened, and with Alyxander gone, roll an insight check.
Ba-ba-ba-ba. He appears to be talking.
Yes, in fact, with a 4, he's talking. He says, with Alyxander gone, with IOTH gone, it really is up to us to protect his legacy and his teachings. And I don't think we can trust the school to do that anymore.
What makes you think that?
Look at everything that's happened. We've been attacked time and time again. We've got enemies without and within. IOTH himself is gone. The sphere is weakened. And last night, if it wasn't for the intervention of an otherworldly power, what state would we have been in? There's been Infernals and Sovereigns all gunning for this school. And every time that happens, some part of our legacy slips away.
I disagree, Cryas. I think they're doing that to make sure the legacy doesn't occur. They're attacking this place to make sure there's never another IOTH.
He takes that into account, thinks on it, rolls it over in his mind. Yes. Yes. It is a gift to an ungrateful world, and it's being rejected. But I think it's up to the Codex, to the most loyal of the Codex, people like you and people like me, who value that legacy, to start preparing for a world where the Academy can't protect us.
How are we going to prepare for that? We're not strong enough yet, but groundwork is always good.
We need an archive, a repository of with all the teachings and the magic that they want to destroy and take away from mortals. We need it gathered in one place, written securely in a way that nobody can understand or take from us without the proper guidance. You've been studying those runes. Alexander knew those runes. I think you can help me with this.
You want these magics transcribed into IOTH's language?
Yes, as much as possible. One day, we'll put it somewhere not even the Academy can find it, where no traitor or infernal or sovereign or titan can reach it. But we have to start preparing now.
I agree.
Okay.
I can help with that.
All right. Good. Thank you. Give You've Garnet my regards.
I'm sure she'll wonder why you aren't there yourself, but I will.
This is important. And he will, unless you had something else you were going to say?
And a teeth thing, I think Mason was their name. They are also here at Tasselmore. Turned up with a mirror piece.
A what?
Yeah, you're going to want to check that out.
Yeah, I owe
I
that
think he's
to
at the feast with Garnet.
Clearly torn. Clearly torn. Okay. All right. I best go up there. It's for Alex. I owe it to him. Okay. Would you? And he gestures at the walls of illusions.
Athalor starts to begin cutting through the walls. He looks a little bit more somber, almost noticeably so, now that Christ has said that he owes Alex this.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe focus on those who are here for you now. As he goes through a final wall.
Christ gives you a brief questioning look, but then keeps moving forward with newfound determination. Let us check in on those upstairs, on Mason and Garnet and Arianna, in a moment.
Behold, an act of God.
This is Auruk Day, apparently. A drop of wisdom.
Oh, perfection of a craft. This works out perfectly.
Yeah, you gain an automatic 20, natural 20, on a skill or ability check. So not an attack roll or a saving throw, but an automatic 20 on a skill check. And that's floating for the party to use, especially now that we no longer have a PvP situation. We don't have to figure out who gets it. All right. So, Arianna, you were attempting to leave when you got pineapple glomped. And Mason is also beholding this entire thing. And whenever Garnet gets up and moves, people aren't following her, but they are sort of looking over at her. And I'll make these dice. Oh, actually, we had our first Auric card. I'll roll for that on the break so I don't have to sit here playing with my action figures. So, Garnet, are you still force feeding Arianna roasted pineapple?
Is just probably messaging her while the pineapple feeding is happening to just be like, don't react to the mirror, don't react to the mirror shattering. We need to talk to Cryus. We don't know who this is. We don't know, yeah.
Is anyone
Arianna's
here in
face will,
Otherworld
start to
Studies?
relax. I am.
Okay.
I'm pretty
yeah.
sure.
Mason's in that class. You've never really hung out or talked, but he's in that class. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I know who he is, probably. Okay. Yeah, I think Arianna will start to visually relax as she's starting to figure out what's going on, and that some secrets are best kept to just the group and not spread around the entire party of people that are in this room.
I think also Mason would kind of pop up with another question. I guess directed to the both of them, Arianna and Garnet, and say, I also had a question. It is, well, a rather personal matter, I suppose, but you've worked with Sventisco before, right? Last year?
Yeah, I was with Sventisco in the Grove. Right, Garnet?
Right.
Yes, I'm just.
No more pineapples. We're out of pineapples.
I'm curious, have either of you talked to her recently? I'm
DM
just.
check. When has the last time?
It's been a
Oh.
while. The last time that you saw Sventisco, it was the sage in Sventisco's disguise. Remember? You haven't
Yeah.
seen
Oh, wait.
Sventisco
That
since
sucks.
then.
No, we did. So we physically saw her when Vindur was like attacking the school, right?
Mm-hmm.
Timeline check. Was that like 2 weeks ago?
Yeah. I think 3 weeks at this point.
Feels so long ago.
Oh,
It's been
my
at least since
God.
April. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, it's been like 6 months. Okay. Yeah, I guess Ariana not knowing how to like respond in the situation because she was just told not to react was just like, I haven't really seen her since living with her in the Grove.
Hmm.
Are you friends with Sventisco?
Yes. I'm just. Well, I know that you've worked together, and I don't know if you still had a relationship. I'm just concerned, I think.
Oh.
Oh.
Yeah.
About her? Is she okay?
Well, I think that's complicated. I know she's okay, but don't think she's okay. You know?
Yes.
Do you want us to go talk to her with you, or
No, that is all right. You don't need to.
is it about? Kind of looks around and whispers. Is it about like Alex being gone? Is she upset about that? Brings up X.
Yeah, she'd never be upset about that. He's dead. Let me pop the champagne.
Oh God.
I don't know. Her feelings are complicated. It seems like I don't know.
I don't think this matter involves Alex. It's just, I mean, she hasn't been to classes recently, kind of. I'm just worried.
Now that you mention it, I guess, yeah, I haven't seen her in any classes. Have you, Garnet?
No. Maybe we can bring her up a plate of food, and that'll cheer her up. Food always cheers people up.
True.
And that'll be like our icebreaker. That sounds good to you, Mason?
I can check and see if she would like that. I would like that, to do something nice for her. She might be a bit busy, admittedly, but I'll see. If you're still interested, I can check in and get back with you all. I really would. I would love that. Yes.
Okay, well, we're at insert room here, and you can come knock at our door anytime, and we'll bring some food up and warm it up with our oven that I know so much about. And then blinks at Ariana, who wasn't there during that conversation, and just like nods at her to just.
Oh yes, that I create fire for.
Yeah, that oven
Teamwork.
that we know so much about. Yeah.
Sounds fascinating. If you can use your magics together and make something out of it, wonderful stuff.
Well, sometimes we burn things.
No, shit. It's just when they like it well done, we have to. Anyway, we're gonna go and see where our friend Athalor went, and we will talk to you on the flip side. So
If
nice
some-
to meet you.
if sometimes you burn things, it might have been meant to happen. But it was a pleasure meeting you both, I suppose, formally. Happy birthday again. I'm glad you enjoyed the pineapple, Ariana, and
It was great.
I'll see what I can do to if I can ever get some more of that. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So
Grabs Ariana by the arm.
are you leaving early before dusk, Garnet? Because it's not dusk yet. Are you going to stick it out for the several hours more, or are you going to take out? Or are you going to take off?
She's probably gonna like scoot Ariana to the other side of the room
Mhm.
and
Behold,
either way,
an act of
and
God.
we'll probably get word from Una about the Athalor tattoo because she's been probably trying to ignore Una during festivities because annoying.
Dark One, eat me.
Poke, 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 poke.
Something's up with Athalor, Ariana. But I don't think I should leave right now. Would you want to go maybe check up on him? He just left without saying why. So
Yeah, I should be able to do that. I'll go check the room and see if he's in there. And will you be here?
yeah, I'll bring I'll send Una with you, and you guys can just talk through it, and we'll keep in touch, radio style. And I gotta stay here for a bit longer, but
Yeah.
maybe I'll come up with a good excuse later if I need to go.
If you need to go, you have to go attend your oven.
Right. Just go explode an oven for me if you really need me.
Yeah,
We'll be
okay.
able to smell it and hear it and
I
see it.
figured. Okay, great.
Yeah,
Good.
exploding oven if you want, if it's an emergency.
We'll keep that in mind. Ariana's like not
Covered
sure
on
if
this
this is
lies.
like a real thing or like a joke, but she's just
Well,
like going with it.
And probably gives oh wait, what are we doing with the mirror piece? We'll just I guess keep it on her for now.
Mm-hmm.
Keep it on myself.
Okay.
Might need to do some stabbing.
Oh, and if you run by Cryus, Ariana, could you just tell him to stop by the party? Codex matters. I'm sure he'll come running.
Yeah, if it's you, I think I just need to mention you.
Just
in
the
here.
Codex. Just say Codex. He'll...
Okay. Ariana giggles to herself and starts walking away.
All right. Garnet, you're going to stay for the rest of the feast now, unless Mason leaves. You're alone at this point, except for Ruby and Cyrus and the rest of the entire crowd who are all like very fervently gathered together today.
Yeah, we'll try to stay as long as she can, and if there's a good chance to escape, but she's obviously gonna try and like create some bonds and talk with Cyrus and Ruby and try to be friends. But if there's a big reason to leave, she'll try to leave.
Okay. Roll a persuasion check with advantage, please. 17. Yeah, absolutely. You find it extremely easy to make friends today with a crowd that you didn't always
Yay.
necessarily run with. And there are presents for your birthday as well.
Oh, yay!
Some of it's just money, but
Fuck.
roll
We take
1d100
those.
for me.
Oh. Money? Oh my god.
Re-roll that. I'm not gonna let that slide.
Don't give me $1.
You
Here's
get
$1.
$1. It's a
Don't s-
lucky penny.
Don't spend it all in one place. 62. All right, cool. Roll 2d6 for me.
That's the second time Lemon's rolled a 1 on a 1d100, right?
I know. The last time it broke the
Help
campaign.
me.
Crazy.
I just rolled like 3
This time she
ones.
would have just been broke instead.
All right. You got 2 gemstones, 2 tiger eye gemstones, and roll another d100 for me. Actually, roll 1d4, and then roll 1d100 3 times. People have been crafting. Yeah, just roll 1d100 and do it. All right. 95 and 96,
Holy
98.
fuck.
People have been crafting things all year long, or they've got little things, and so they give you magic items that they've made for your birthday.
Yay!
You get a ring of swimming,
That's so
a robe of useful items, which is really cool. and a saddle of the Cavalier from one of the students who's into equestrian sports.
For all the horses I have, Pog.
Yeah, for all those horses that you've got.
Cryus, come here.
Bruh. This is a
All right.
15-year-old.
Cryus is going to find his way up to the feast, but he doesn't immediately join in. You see him sort of like waiting at the edges, makes eye contact with you, glances around at everyone almost conspiratorially. He's on one right now. He's being unusually weird even for Cryus.
Do I notice the weird?
Yeah, it's pretty. The weirdness is pretty obvious.
Shifty little guy.
If you want me to do the scene now, yeah, I'll go up to him and.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Cryus.
Garnet, I heard somebody had something for us.
Immediately frowns and just doesn't say anything, almost like she's waiting for him to say literally anything else.
I talked to Athalor.
Just rolls her eyes and keeps frowning and is like now looking around, waiting.
A subsection of a item of particular import that we are.
It's her present down.
A piece of the mirror.
Oh, he's the best, but he's the worst.
Piece of the mirror.
Is that it?
Yes. Garnet, I owe it to Alex. I have to make this right.
Oh, all the wrong things, Cryus. All the wrong things.
And now that
he's min-maxing, making a tit of himself.
And as soon as he says Alex, she's very upset now. Don't say his name, and just like grabs the piece of mirror that's in cloth and wets his hand, opens his hand, slaps it on, enough to not break it because mirror is fragile, but just puts it in his hand, and then is just about to kind of leave and is just looking away, frowning, arms crossed.
The power of the void stirs within you at that moment.
It's Brian time.
Who was wrong, you?
You are feeling so many mixed emotions. All this joy and being the center of attention, and then Cryus bringing up Alyxander, the betrayal, the double betrayal is so close in your mind, wouldn't it? It would be nice if you could just not feel that. If you could just drive that out of you and be empty and hollow and unbreakable. But to do that, you'd need to shut Cryus up. The power is within you. It is up to you what you do with it.
Is gonna try her best to keep it all in, but she is now very, very visibly pissed, and is now very seething angry, but is not making eye contact with Cryus.
Okay. You're not making eye contact with him?
It's one of those, like, when you're angry, you don't want to make eye contact, just looking at the ground, very angry.
All right. He stares at the back of your head, confused for a moment, and his brow furrows, his eyes narrow. He doesn't really know what to do, but he turns and walks away without trying to make it better.
Little bitch! Little fucking bitch!
Ooh, you just screwed up on the year 6 dance, bitch.
Just turns back over and says, well, since it's my birthday today, Cryus, there won't be any official codex meetings. And since Alex is out of the picture, we're going to have to discuss a restructuring and she's just very angry, but is trying to say professional things all at once. We're going to have to discuss the restructuring, the budget for a memorial for Alex. And This will have to wait until tomorrow. I will see you later.
Okay.
We'll have Una, while invisible, crouch in front of Cries while he walks to trip him.
Okay. He turns and walks away with a little bit more of a straight back, a little bit more strength in his stride, and then he just absolutely eats it and beefs it. Arianna, you were seeking out Athalor, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So, Garnet, the feast winds down to its end. And at the very end of the feast, they send everyone home with extra food. Not only like the leftovers of whatever's there, but also with trail mix and dried goods and leathered fruit and all sorts of like food that keeps well. They just distribute that amongst everybody who's there to make sure everyone has something to take home. They give you some extra stuff to give to Arianna. You notice yourself kind of getting extra heaped up with stuff, a little bit more than usual, a little bit more perhaps unrepresentationally. But they clean up and everyone was really glad to have you there, even though this dark funk is resting over your head. And Arianna, you catch up with Athalor, who is in his room or in the workshops?
He's in his room.
He's in his room and he's chiseling something. He's working on a piece of marble. But before, and then Mason, where did you go? Did you stick around at the party? I forget.
I think Mason would have stuck around a little bit, but if it was clear like the rest of the like party were trying to do something else, then wouldn't really feel obligated to stick around any longer. And I guess would probably go off to like check in with people after last night and everything, like specifically Kiz John and things like that.
Cryas is recovering from his face plant and he goes over. You're Mason, right? Mason? Yes.
Yes.
He looks left. He looks right, rubs his bruised nose. Look, I need to talk to. And at that moment, there's a tremendous thundering boom, like a clap of thunder that shakes the entire Tarselmore Hall, rumbling from deep within, at the very roots, within the crypts themselves. It shakes the entire structure. People look back and forth. Trauma responses, not again. What's going on downstairs? We'll find out after this short break. Don't go anywhere, folks.
Fry oven!